let's start with the Ravens because they do come out there and I was talking yesterday how they haven't been able to put teams away. Yesterday they put a team away, and it was getting to that point where it was a 14-point game and they had to punt it back, and the Bengals had the ball and the Bengals scored, and you're like, okay, here come the Bengals now, and this might happen again. And the Ravens shut the door, and they did it with an incredible defensive effort, but Lamar was really good last night too. My fear is that he lost his bread and butter. He lost Mark Andrews, and that's a huge loss in this game. And Lamar himself was limping, and Odell was limping. This is one of those games on a short week, Thursday night football. You are going to go in knowing that it's going to be a brutal situation, especially after playing the Browns on Sunday. Ravens win. They silence me. They silence a lot of people who are wondering whether they can just put teams away in the fourth quarter at home. It's a great win, and they have 10 days. But you lose Mark Andrews. Garofalo had the quote. It was basically like, he's the peanut butter to my jelly. That's what Lamar said afterwards. I mean, these guys have been rookies together. They have come in through the NFL together. And now you're losing a guy that's really his number one target in a lot of ways. I don't mean to start the morning on a dour note and be, hey, there's a wet blanket aspect here. But to survive this NFL season, which is now 18 weeks with short weeks on Thursday Night Football, you're going to suffer injuries. The Bengals suffered one that's far bigger than this one, I think, in the grand scheme, losing Burrow. But don't get it twisted. When Harbaugh comes out and it's like Mark Andrews is out for the season afterwards, it's hard to wake up Friday morning and be like, yeah, we won, we kicked their butt. You just lost maybe your number one option, and you're thinking Super Bowl this year.
And meanwhile, the Browns are saying, oh, you lost your tight end? We don't cry about it? You could come over to our side.
Yeah, look what we're dealing with. I think also when you factor in, like, they just lost Ronnie Stanley the week before that, and it's like, all right, now offensively, can we withstand this surge right now? I feel like the way the Baltimore Ravens played last night, to me, it was a complete domination. I know that early on the score was a little bit within there, but at no point did I not think that the Baltimore Ravens weren't going to win that game. And it's because their defense was relentless. I mean, Ravens flock is kind of their battle cry for the fans and everything. I mean, they were swarming. They were flocking to the quarterback. And look, we talked about Jake Browning kind of went in and did what he could. But even with a four-man rush, they were all over the place. Jadeveon Clowney was all over him. Roquan Smith was all over the field. This defense is so physical right now. So, yes, the Mark Andrews injury sucks. And I look at the offense, I think, oh, boy, how's Lamar going to come back from that, and how is he going to withstand that? This defense, I mean, they're the number one scoring defense in the league right now, and they put on a show in a game where you never know how those games are going to happen in that division. That division always beats. They beat each other up. And it happened last night. A lot of guys got hurt and banged up. Odell Beckham hurt his shoulder too. That defense, though, I feel like that's the catalyst for this. Obviously, you get the nice mini bye weekend this weekend to kind of rest up, but that defense was something else to watch. And Kyle Hamilton's all over the field. Patrick Queen. This might be the best linebacker duo in the league right now.
They're awesome, and they're running. And you're encouraged by a lot of stuff. You're encouraged by Odell before the injury. You're Bateman. And it was the running game, Gus Edwards, and the touchdowns. But you had me at the peanut butter and jelly, Peter. I've been thinking about that because, we're all dads. Sometimes you got to make the quick PB&J, like you're going to practice or something. Have you ever had the thing where you're like, oh, crap, like we're out of peanut butter, but we have jelly? Like you make just a jelly sandwich. It's like, it's fine, but it's not a Super Bowl sandwich. You can make just plain peanut butter with no jelly. It's not a Super Bowl sandwich. And you're sitting here and like, if you're a Ravens fan this morning, you're like, did we just lose in the playoffs? Like, we're going to get to the playoffs. We're 8-3. We're good. Our defense is awesome. We need Andrews. Like, Andrews is our difference maker. I think he's probably the second most indispensable tight end in the league behind Kelsey. Like, he does so much for them. And so it's this bizarre, we beat our division opponent by 2 touchdowns.
Might have buried them for the season. They could be done, the Bengals.
It's great. We put them on. And yet I want to throw up this morning because of Andrews. Let's talk about the Bengals part of it. All right, so interesting subplots in this, and this is why the questions were so pointed to Zach Taylor after the game. If you didn't see it, Al Michaels kept bringing it up, that there was a screen cap, as Al was saying, of Joe arriving in Baltimore, and he's got this thing on his hand. It looks like a hand brace, and it's like, well, that's a pretty big deal. Like, Joe Burrow is traveling with some sort of supportive brace on his throwing hand. Wasn't on the injury report, haven't heard any of this, and so that's some pretty loaded stuff. And so Zach Taylor's a little defensive, said he was fine coming out this week. We'll continue to dig into that. During the game, he wasn't fine. He gets knocked out of the game, can't throw a pass. We have no idea what his future is now. Even if he was healthy, the Bengals are in a huge amount of trouble because they can't win an AFC game. They can't win a division game. And now they're a 500 team. They have the same team as the same record as the Las Vegas Raiders. So you're at this point now with this Bengals. Who are we? What are we? If you held on to your stock at the beginning of the season after the start and you just didn't blink, you're cashing it in for the past month, and now you're like, is Burrow hurt? What are we doing? We can't win a game. Bring up the playoff standings, because I'm trying to make a positive this morning. I know it was a tough game. Suddenly, if the Bengals' record is now here and their quarterback might be hurt, Raiders-Dolphins is a big game this weekend, all right? Jets-Bills is a game this weekend that matters. If the Jets beat the Bills again, they got the same record as the Bengals. You're sitting there not rejoicing injuries, but if you see Mark Andrews is out and Joe Burrow is hurt and you're a Colts fan, you're saying, let's go get an AFC wild card. It's a lot of ripple effects, again, with the AFC North. I feel like 20 minutes ago we're saying 4 playoff teams. Yeah. Deshaun out, Andrews out, et al. Like, it's terrible for that, but there are some people who will benefit from it.
Oddly, the biggest benefactor is the Steelers. They now play Dorian Thompson-Robinson this weekend in a game that was supposed to be this like clash of 2 6-3 teams. Now you have the backup quarterback from the Browns. And then next week, the Steelers will play likely Jake Browning. So the Steelers, who are 6-3 and they haven't outgained any opponents this whole season. They've trailed in most of these games. Right. They might be very well 8-3 after playing 2 division opponents because you're getting their backup quarterbacks. Real quickly on Burrow. Yeah. I will say this. There's going to be a lot of speculation on the injury report and all that. We'll see. Burrow looked awesome when he was playing. They were winning the game when
that was the point Taylor made. Look how good he looked in the first half. He was fine.
He looked great. Yeah. He got hit. He got hurt, and he hurt his wrist. Now, whether he's injured or not beforehand, it wasn't on the injury report. We saw the screen grab, as Al Michaels said. That'll get investigated for sure by the league. I would assume that someone's going to do some questioning at the very least. But he wasn't on the injury report. But when he did play, Joe Burrow looked pretty good to me. It didn't look like his wrist was bothering him. But when you get hit by Clowney like that, that's when your wrist can bother you.
Yeah, anybody that's ever injured the wrist, there's a lot of little bones in there and all kinds of stuff going on. So anytime you jam it like that, it definitely is an impact. But that throw, watching it in slow motion, that didn't look good. I think, aside from the Joe Burrow thing, like, what's happened to this Bengals defense? 2 weeks in a row now. Like, I don't even know. Yes, if Joe Burrow stayed in that game, would they have been in it at the end? Yes, probably. But would they have won it? I don't know. They go up 34 points. This is 2 weeks in a row now that, like, the defense can't get off the field.
They lead the league in giving up explosive plays.